Hey, what's up gang? Miguel Quiles here. I am in the studio today and I want to talk to you about 5 things that I think that you should consider getting if you're going to have a studio. There's 5 essential things that honestly, if I think about, I really couldn't do much of what I do without these items. So without further ado, let's get started. Now this list is in no particular order, but the first thing that I want to talk to you about is my tethering setup. And this tethering setup kind of entails a bunch of different things. One of which being the tether table, which for my tether table in my studio, I have it connected to a rolling stand. And I use that to be able to show images to the model, to show images to the client that's here, to show images to the makeup artist and the rest of the team. Makes it really easy to be able to look over images and sometimes even apply like a quick color grade or a quick edit so that they get an idea of what the images are gonna look like. It's an essential piece that if you're looking to have a studio or if you have one right now and you're trying to outfit it with different things, definitely wanna make sure that you have a tether table so you can put your laptop on there and show your images. Now, part of this tethering setup is gonna require you to have tether cables as well. For my studio, I use cables from Tether Tools. They come in a variety of different lengths. I use a 15-foot cable because by far it's perfect for this space. But you may need more, and they do make extenders that you can connect to make that cable a little bit longer. So that is an option for you to use as well. Now, I will recommend to you that these cables, I had one cable a long time ago, and I dropped my camera and it bent the pin on the tether cable. So you definitely want to make sure that if you're going to go this route, you might want to look to invest in maybe like 2 or 3 of those tether cables, have one on kind of like standby in case one of them happens to get messed up, whatever the case might be. Don't want to go without having your ability to tether. So make sure that you have backups. But that's the first thing I would recommend to you is to get that entire tether setup, being the table, hopefully a rolling type of stand to put that table on, and of course your tether cable. The second item that I would recommend to you, and it's a must-have item if you're going to outfit your studio, is to get V-flats. Now for me, I actually get this question all the time, where do you get V-flats from? It took me a long time to track these things down. I bought mine, let's see, it's 2019 now, so I bought mine back in late 2016. And I had to piece these things together. I ended up calling some local art stores in the area here in New Jersey, and there was a store that actually would sell the panels individually. And so what I did was I bought 2 4x8 panels, and I got one of the items that's also on this list to basically put those pieces together. I'll talk about it in a minute. And basically put these V-flats together to where they open up like a book. And so I have 2 white V-flats that are 4x8, and I have 2 black V-flats. Now they do make some of these where it's actually black on one side and white on the other, and kind of looking back, I kind of wish that I would have got those. So highly recommend if you can find a panel where it's white on one side, black on the other. It's gonna save you a little bit of room. Instead of going the route that I did where I have 4 V-flats in order to have 2 whites and 2 blacks, you could just have, you know, one that's dual purpose. So those work really well. There's a company out there right now as well that makes V-flats, and so you could definitely check them out as well. I'll put a link in the description for the video because I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they also make V-flats, and I believe they ship worldwide. So if you're watching this video and you're not in the US, you might want to check them out. But if not, definitely check out local art supply stores, and it's going to take a little bit of time to, you know, put them together. Maybe I'll make a video on that. So we'll see, we'll keep an eye out for that. But V-flats are definitely something you want to invest in because it's going to help you to flag your lights. Sometimes I use them as backgrounds in my photos. I use them to bounce lights off of if I'm lighting portraits and things of that nature. They're super, super versatile. I'm actually doing a video today where I'm actually making like a makeshift room with V-flats. And this is something that if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be able to do it. So super useful item. It's worth its weight in gold. They're not cheap to make and they're not cheap to buy, but trust me, they're worth every penny. The third item on this list is Apple boxes. This was something that when I started in my studio that I was in need of and I didn't realize I needed it. I'm 6 foot. Sometimes I've had models that have come in that actually are either 6 foot or a little bit taller than me. And it's really hard to try to take photos of people that are taller than you. You don't have a way to kind of prop yourself up. If you're working with models that are a little bit shorter than you, what you could do is they could actually stand on an Apple box and it will make them a little bit taller. So Apple boxes are great to kind of make your models taller or make you taller for you to take really great portraits. And they also look really good. Over time, they get distressed and you could actually use them as props in your photo shoots once they get to that really like worn and rugged and distressed type of look. Sometimes when you go to rent Apple boxes, you'll see that they actually charge you more for those. And there's a reason for it. It's not because they're crazy that they're trying to, you know, rent you Apple boxes that are all busted up. They have character and it adds a lot to your photos. So definitely want to consider getting Apple boxes if you're going to shoot in the studio. Number 4 on the list of must-have items for studio photographers is this, gaff tape. I can't tell you the number of times that either this has saved my life or my life was ruined because I didn't have gaff tape in the studio. This is super, super useful. In my own studio, I'll give you an idea of some of the ways I've used it, and you'll probably have other ways that either you have used it or will use it in the future. But if you have cables on the ground and you want to keep people from tripping, gaff tape is really great because you could put gaff tape over your cables. It makes it really nice and tidy. I use gaff tape to tape my backdrops down. So when I pull the backdrop down and have the model stand on that, I usually just gaff tape the edges so that the backdrop doesn't move while they're standing on it. I use it to roll up my backdrops. I mean, I use this for pretty much everything in the studio. And I can tell you that when the time calls for it and you realize, hey, I need a piece of gaff tape and you don't have it, it's super annoying. So what I would recommend to you, they come in different colors. There's a company called Savage that makes these rolls of gaff tape, and they make it in pink and green and white and black and every other color. Would highly, highly recommend get it in a bunch of different colors because you may think you only need black or you only need white. It's gonna come in handy for you to have multiple colors, and you could put like a little cable in this and just have it hanging off of your backdrop stands, or you could put them into a bucket or something, but you definitely wanna make sure you have these handy. And one last thing, they make it smaller. So it's like a little bit smaller than the interior of this gaff tape. And I would recommend that you get the smaller ones and just chuck them into your camera bag and just always have it with you. Because again, this will save your life one day. Get gaff tape. The final item, the 5th item must have for studio photographers is a posing table. This is something that is super handy, super duper handy. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I use my posing table more often for holding my reflector in my portraits than actually like having the model pose on it. But I will say that it works really well to hold your reflector when you're taking, you know, close-up beauty shots or portraits or whatever the case might be. But it also is a really great prop to have the models kind of lay their elbows on it and do different types of poses. They look beautiful as they pose on those tables, and so I would highly recommend that. The other thing is that it's kind of like a general all-purpose catch-all type of device in my studio where I'll put my camera on it. In the mornings, if I have coffee or something, I'll use it as a table because it's on wheels, so you can kind of move it around and place it wherever it is that you need it to be. So posing table is kind of just a multi-purpose table. It doesn't have to be just for posing, but I highly recommend getting one. These are 5 essential things that if you're looking to start a studio, kind of, even if you have like a home studio, these are all great things that you should consider adding to your setup. Now, I'm sure I missed some things. There's probably a million different things that would be really useful, but this is my top 5 list. What's your top 5 must-have items for studio? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Hope you guys are enjoying 2019. We're off to a pretty good start here. There's gonna be a lot of new content coming to the channel. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe because there's gonna be a lot of great stuff coming soon. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.